Hello everyone. Welcome to one of the most important lessons in this course. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the role of communication in leadership. If you remember only one thing from this lesson, let it be this. Leadership is not a position. Leadership is communication. You can have the title, the experience, and the authority, but without strong communication, leadership simply doesn't work. Let's break this down step by step, with real-life examples, practical insights, and situations you'll recognize from your own professional life. Why communication is the foundation of leadership. As a leader, everything you do is communicated, whether you speak or stay silent. Your words communicate direction. Your tone communicates respect or lack of it. Your body language communicates confidence or insecurity. Your silence communicates approval, confusion, or avoidance. Leadership communication answers 4 key questions for people. Where are we going? Why does this matter? What is expected of me? Can I trust you? Example: imagine a manager who says, "Just do your best." Now compare it with, "Our goal is to reduce customer complaints by 20% this quarter. Your role is critical, and I'm here to support you if you need resources." Same situation, completely different leadership impact. Communication shapes leadership style. Every leadership style is expressed through communication. Directive leaders: clear, short, decisive language, useful in crises or time pressure situations. Example: we have 48 hours. I need daily updates at 5 p.m. Let's focus only on critical tasks. Participative leaders: ask questions, encourage dialogue. Example: I'd like to hear your ideas before we decide. What do you think is the best approach? Coaching leaders: focus on growth and feedback. Example: you handled that well. What do you think you could improve next time? Key point for you as a future leader: your leadership style is heard before it is seen. Building trust through communication. Trust doesn't come from speeches. It comes from consistent communication. Leaders build trust when they say what they mean, explain decisions openly, admit mistakes, listen without interrupting. Example: a leader says, "This project didn't go as planned. That's on me. Here's what I learned, and here's how we'll improve together." This type of communication creates psychological safety, which is essential for high-performing teams. Vision and purpose. Communicating the why. One of the most powerful roles of leadership communication is turning goals into meaning. People don't commit to tasks. They commit to purpose. Great leaders don't just say what to do, they explain why it matters. Example: instead of, "We need to work overtime this week," a leader says, "This week is demanding, but it brings us closer to launching a product that will help thousands of users. I truly appreciate your effort." This is how leaders inspire, not force. Many iconic leaders mastered this skill. Nelson Mandela used words to unite a divided nation. Steve Jobs used storytelling to motivate innovation. Listening, the most underrated leadership skill. Here's a truth many leaders learn late. You cannot lead people you don't listen to. Leadership communication is two-way, not a broadcast. Effective leader listeners. Don't interrupt. Ask follow-up questions. Listen for emotions, not just words. Example: employee says, "I'm fine." A leader who listens deeply hears stress, hesitation, lack of motivation, and responds with, "You say you're fine, but I sense some pressure. Do you want to talk about it?" That's leadership through communication. Communication in difficult leadership moments. Leadership communication matters most when things go wrong. During conflict, instead of blaming, "You messed this up," a leader says, "Let's understand what happened and how we can fix it." During change, instead of vague announcements, "Things are changing," a leader says, "Here's what's changing, what's not changing, and how this affects you." During crisis, calm, transparent communication prevents panic and builds confidence. Everyday leadership communication habits. You don't need a big speech to be a great communicator. Leadership is built in daily interactions. Strong leaders. Start meetings with clarity. Give feedback regularly. Recognize effort publicly. Address issues early. Small example, big impact. "Thank you for speaking up in the meeting. That perspective helped the team." That sentence costs nothing, but builds loyalty. Key takeaways for you as a leader. Let's wrap this up clearly. Leadership lives in words, tone, and actions. Communication creates trust, clarity, and motivation. Listening is as powerful as speaking. Great leaders explain the why, not just the what. In tough moments, communication defines your leadership reputation. Final thought for you. You don't become a leader when you get a title. You become a leader when people understand you, trust you, and choose to follow you. And that happens through communication. In this lesson, we're going to talk about one of the most powerful skills you can ever develop as a communicator, the ability to inspire and motivate others through your words, tone, and presence. Whether you are a leader, manager, teacher, team member, or future professional, your communication has the power to either drain energy or spark action and commitment. Let's learn how to make it do the second. What does inspiring communication really mean? Inspiring communication is not about fancy words or long speeches. It is about helping people believe in a goal, helping them believe in themselves, helping them see meaning in what they do. Inspiration answers the question, why does this matter? Motivation answers the question, why should I act now? Great communicators do both. Inspiration starts with purpose, the why. People don't get inspired by tasks, they get inspired by purpose. Task-focused communication. We need to increase sales by 15% this quarter. Purpose-driven communication. By increasing sales, we can grow the company, create more opportunities for our team, and secure our future together. Key lesson for you. Always connect what needs to be done with why it matters. Mini exercise for you. Take a sentence like, please complete this report by Friday. Now reframe it with purpose. This report will help us make better decisions and show leadership the impact of our work. That's why Friday is important. Emotional connection. Speak to the heart, not only the brain. Facts inform. Emotions move people to action. Inspiring communicators. Acknowledge feelings. Show empathy. Make people feel seen and valued. Example. Team under pressure. Cold communication. Deadlines are tight. Just focus and finish your tasks. Inspiring communication. I know this period is challenging. I see the effort you're putting in, and it truly matters. We'll get through this together. Notice the difference? Same situation, completely different emotional impact. Use stories, not just statements. Stories are one of the strongest motivational tools. Why? People remember stories. People feel stories. People see themselves in stories. Example. Motivating a team. Statement. We need to improve customer satisfaction. Story. Last week, a customer wrote to us saying our support helped them solve a serious problem just in time. That's the kind of impact we create every day. Teaching tip. Whenever possible, turn data into human stories. Language that motivates versus language that kills motivation. Your word choice matters more than you think. Avoid language that blames, threatens, creates fear. Examples. If you don't do this, there will be consequences. This is unacceptable. Use language that encourages, includes, empowers. Examples. Let's figure out how we can improve this together. I trust your ability to handle this. Motivational language is collaborative, not controlling. Believe first, then others will follow. People can hear whether you believe what you say. If you don't sound convinced, motivated, or hopeful, your audience won't be either. Example, low energy delivery. Yeah, this is a good opportunity, I guess. Conviction. This is a real opportunity for growth, and I truly believe we can succeed. Rule. Energy is contagious, so is doubt. Nonverbal communication. Motivation beyond words. Your body often speaks louder than your voice. Motivating communicators. Maintain eye contact. Use open posture. Speak with a confident but warm tone. Avoid crossed arms and closed body language. Even in online meetings, sit upright, look at the camera, use facial expressions. Your message should say, I care, I'm present, I believe in this. Real-life scenario, inspiring through communication. Scenario, low team morale. Your team feels tired and unmotivated. Instead of saying, we just need to push harder, try saying, I know everyone is feeling tired, and that's completely understandable. What you've already achieved is impressive. Let's focus on one step at a time and support each other. We're closer than we think. This approach, validate emotions, recognizes effort, restores hope. Practical techniques you can start using today. Here are simple but powerful tools. Use we instead of you. Appreciate effort, not just results. Ask inspiring questions. What's possible here? How can we make this better together? End messages with encouragement. I trust you. I believe in this team. Final thought for you. Let me leave you with this. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how your communication made them feel. As communicators, we don't just exchange information. We shape energy, confidence, and direction. Inspire with purpose, motivate with empathy, communicate with heart. In this lesson, we're going to talk about one of the most powerful leadership skills you can ever develop, communicating vision through storytelling. If you remember nothing else from this lesson, remember this. People don't follow plans, they follow meaning, and meaning is carried by stories. Let's explore this together, step by step, with real examples you can actually use in your leadership journey. What is vision communication? As leaders, we all have goals, strategies, KPIs, and roadmaps. But vision communication is something deeper. Vision communication is your ability to paint a clear picture of the future, explain why that future matters, make people feel emotionally connected to it. A vision answers 3 silent questions in your team's mind. Where are we going? Why does it matter? What is my role in this future? Example, weak vision communication. Our goal is to increase market share by 12% next year. Strong vision communication. Imagine that 1 year from now, customers choose us first, not because we're cheaper, but because we genuinely solve their problems better than anyone else. Same goal, very different impact. Why storytelling is a leader's superpower. Let me be very honest with you as your instructor. Facts inform, stories inspire. Storytelling helps leaders to make abstract ideas concrete, build emotional connection, increase trust and credibility, make messages memorable. Neuroscience even shows that stories activate multiple areas of the brain, logic, emotion, and imagination at the same time. That's why great leaders are remembered not for their spreadsheets, but for their stories. The difference between telling and inspiring. Let's compare 2 leadership messages. Situation: change is coming. Just telling: we're restructuring the department. Roles may change. Please be flexible. Result: fear, resistance, rumors. Inspiring through story. A few years ago, we were a small team solving simple problems. Today, our challenges are bigger, and that's a sign of growth. This change isn't about losing roles. It's about creating space for everyone to grow with the company. Result: understanding, trust, engagement. The simple vision story framework. Whenever you communicate vision, structure your story like this. The present, reality. Describe where you are now, honestly. Right now we're working hard, but many of our processes slow us down. The challenge. Name the problem or tension. If we keep working this way, we'll burn out before we grow. The future, vision. Paint the picture. Imagine a team where systems support you, not slow you down, and where your energy goes into creativity, not firefighting. The role of the team. Make it personal. Each of you plays a key role in shaping that future. This framework works in meetings, presentations, town halls, and even one-on-one conversations. Learning from iconic leaders. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs didn't say, "We improved processing speed and screen resolution." He said, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." He told a story of transformation, not a list of features. Martin Luther King Jr. In the "I Have a Dream" speech, he didn't focus on laws and policies. He painted vivid images, children holding hands, justice flowing like a river. That's vision communication at its highest level. Vision communication in everyday leadership. You don't need a big stage to communicate vision. Let's bring this into daily work. Team meeting example. Instead of, "We have a tough quarter ahead," try, "This quarter will test us, but it's also where we prove what kind of team we are." One-on-one conversation. Instead of, You need to improve performance. Try, I see you as a future leader here, and this feedback is part of that journey. Small stories, big impact. Common mistakes leaders make. Let's quickly talk about what not to do. Overloading with data and no meaning. Using generic, empty phrases. We aim for excellence. Talking at people instead of with them. Ignoring emotions during change. Remember, if people don't feel it, they won't follow it. Practical exercise for you. I'd love for you to practice this. Exercise. Write a short vision story, 5 to 6 sentences, for one of these. Your team's future. A change you want to introduce. A personal leadership goal. Use this structure. Where we are now. What challenge we face. Where we're going. Why it matters. No perfection needed. Clarity and sincerity matter more. Final thought. As leaders, your words create reality. When you communicate vision with storytelling, you reduce fear, you increase motivation, you turn strategy into shared purpose. So don't just ask, what should I say? Ask instead, what future do I want people to believe in? That's where true leadership communication begins. In this lesson, we're going to talk about something every team faces sooner or later: conflict. And here's the good news right from the start. Conflict itself is not the problem. Poor communication is. When handled well, conflict can actually improve trust, spark innovation, strengthen team relationships. Let's walk through how to manage team conflicts effectively through communication, step by step, with real-life examples you'll recognize. Understanding team conflict before trying to fix it. Before jumping into solutions, we need to understand what conflict really is. Common causes of team conflict: different communication styles, misunderstandings or assumptions, role confusion, competing priorities, personality differences, lack of feedback or unclear expectations. Important mindset shift. Conflict is not about who is right. Conflict is about what is not aligned. Example: one team member thinks another is lazy. In reality, one values speed, the other values accuracy. Different priorities, not bad intentions. The leader's role: be a facilitator, not a judge. As a manager or team leader, your role in conflict is not to take sides. Your role is to create a safe communication space. What this looks like: you listen more than you talk. You guide the conversation instead of controlling it. You focus on solutions, not blame. Wrong approach: who started this? Better approach: let's understand what each of you needs to work effectively. Step 1. Address conflict early. Don't wait. One of the biggest communication mistakes leaders make is waiting too long. Unspoken conflict grows emotionally, turns into passive-aggressive behavior, damages trust. Example: a designer is unhappy with feedback from a developer but says nothing. Weeks later, collaboration breaks down completely. Better communication approach: I noticed some tension in our last meeting. Let's talk about it early before it grows. Early conversations are usually uncomfortable but short. Late conversations are emotional and exhausting. Step 2. Practice active listening, not just hearing. Most conflicts escalate because people don't feel heard. Active listening means no interruptions, no preparing your response while the other person speaks, reflecting back what you heard. Simple but powerful phrases. What I hear you saying is, let me check if I understood you correctly. Can you tell me more about that? Example: instead of saying, you're overreacting, say, it sounds like you felt ignored in that meeting. Is that correct? This alone can reduce emotional tension by half. Step 3. Separate people from the problem. One of the most important communication principles in conflict management. Attack the problem, not the person. Shift the language. You never meet deadlines. Deadlines are being missed, and we need to understand why. You're difficult to work with. Our communication styles seem different, and it's causing friction. This change keeps conversations professional, respectful, and productive. Step 4. Use I statements instead of you statements. You statements feel like accusations. I statements express impact and feelings. Formula: I feel plus when plus because. Example: you don't respect my ideas. I feel frustrated when my ideas aren't discussed because I want to contribute fully. This invites dialogue instead of defensiveness. Step 5. Focus on interests, not positions. In conflicts, people often argue about positions. I want this. No, I want that. But beneath positions are interests, security, recognition, efficiency, fairness. Example: two employees argue about remote work days. Position A: I want more remote days. Position B: that's unfair. Underlying interests: one wants flexibility, the other wants equal treatment. Once interests are clear, creative solutions become possible. Step 6. Encourage collaborative problem solving. After everyone feels heard, move the conversation towards solutions. Powerful questions to ask. What would a good outcome look like for you? What can we change going forward? How can we prevent this in the future? Make solutions shared, not imposed. Example: let's agree on clear response times and meeting rules so this doesn't happen again. Step 7. Agree on clear next steps. A great conflict conversation means nothing without clear follow-up. Always end with, what will change? Who will do what? When it will be reviewed? Example: from now on, we'll clarify priorities at the start of each sprint and review them weekly. Clarity reduces future conflict. Common communication mistakes to avoid. Avoid these in conflict situations: interrupting, taking sides publicly, using sarcasm, avoiding eye contact, minimizing emotions. It's not a big deal. These behaviors destroy trust, even if your intentions are good. Final thoughts for you as a learner. Let me leave you with this. Strong teams are not conflict-free teams. They are teams that communicate through conflict effectively. As you practice these skills, be patient with yourself. Expect discomfort at first. Remember that progress beats perfection. In this lesson, we're going to explore coaching and mentoring communication, one of the most powerful communication skills you can develop as a leader, manager, educator, or teammate. Think of coaching and mentoring not as telling people what to do, but as helping them discover their own best way forward. Let's break this down step by step, with plenty of real-life examples. Coaching versus mentoring. What's the difference? Before we dive into communication techniques, let's clarify the difference. Coaching communication focuses on performance and goals, short to medium term, uses questions to unlock thinking. The coach does not give direct answers. Key mindset: I help you think. Mentoring communication focuses on long-term development, relationship-based, uses experience sharing. The mentor may give advice and guidance. Key mindset: I share what I've learned. Both rely heavily on communication skills, especially listening, questioning, empathy, and trust building. Why communication is the heart of coaching and mentoring. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but without strong communication, coaching and mentoring fail. Effective communication helps you build trust, create psychological safety, encourage self-awareness, inspire confidence and ownership. Golden rule: people grow faster when they feel heard, not judged. Core communication skills for coaching and mentoring. Let's look at the essential skills you must master. Active listening, not just hearing. In coaching and mentoring, listening is more important than speaking. Poor listening: yes, yes, I already know the problem, just do this. Coaching style listening: I'm listening, tell me more about what's challenging for you. Tips for active listening: don't interrupt. Notice tone and emotions. Reflect back what you hear. Example: so what I'm hearing is that deadlines aren't the real issue, unclear priorities are. Did I get that right? Powerful questioning. Great coaches ask open-ended, thought-provoking questions. Weak question: did you try harder? Powerful coaching questions. What options do you see right now? What's holding you back? What would success look like for you? What's one small step you could take this week? These questions encourage reflection, build ownership, develop problem-solving skills. Giving feedback the coaching way. In coaching and mentoring, feedback should be constructive and supportive, not judgmental. Judgmental feedback: you're bad at presentations. Coaching-oriented feedback: I noticed you had strong content, but the structure could be clearer. How do you feel about your delivery? This approach reduces defensiveness, invites dialogue, encourages self-assessment. Coaching communication in action. Scenario: performance coaching. Employee: I feel stuck. No matter how hard I work, I don't see progress. Coach: you. Listen actively. It sounds frustrating to put in effort and not see results. Ask a powerful question. What does progress mean to you in this role? Encourage reflection. What's one thing you've already tried that worked, even a little? Support ownership. What's the next step you want to take? Notice how the coach doesn't solve the problem but guides the thinking. Mentoring communication in action. Scenario: career mentoring. Mentee: I'm unsure whether I should move into management. Mentor: you. Share experience. I had the same question early in my career. What helped me was understanding my motivation. Ask reflective questions. What attracts you to management? What concerns you the most? Offer guidance. From my experience, management is less about authority and more about responsibility. Mentoring communication blends listening, storytelling, and advice. Building trust through communication. Trust is the foundation of both coaching and mentoring. You build trust when you keep conversations confidential, avoid judgment, show genuine interest, admit when you don't have all the answers. Trust-building phrase examples. This is a safe space. There's no right or wrong answer here. I appreciate your honesty. Common communication mistakes to avoid. Let's quickly look at what not to do. Talking more than listening, giving advice too early, interrupting or finishing sentences, comparing people to others, focusing only on weaknesses. Remember, coaching and mentoring are about growth, not control. Practical exercise for you, mini practice. Try this in your next conversation. Ask one open-ended question. Stay silent and listen fully. Reflect back what you heard. Ask a follow-up question instead of giving advice. You'll be surprised how powerful this feels. Final thoughts. Dear friends, coaching and mentoring communication is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most supportive one. When you listen deeply, ask meaningful questions, communicate with empathy, you don't just help people perform better, you help them grow as individuals.